Hello everyone and welcome to episode 12 of my Orc Shaman level 1 through 60 playthrough in the Season of Discovery, where today I want to go on a little bit of a bigger adventure where last episode we went to the Eastern Kingdoms and we went to the southern part of the Eastern Kingdoms and we explored the first part of Stranglethorn Vale, and of course we will be spending more time there in the future. But today I want to go back to the Eastern Kingdoms, but I want to explore some of the northern parts where there is obviously quite a bit up there that we have not yet explored, one of which is a brand new zone that is right in the level range for what we are wanting to do right now, and that is the Arathi Highlands, which we will be spending most of the rest of the phase in that zone, alongside in Stranglethorn, alongside in a new zone in Kalimdor that we have not been to yet. So this is kind of a big episode because this is a big chunk of the next part of our adventures, similar to Stranglethorn Vale. And similar to Stranglethorn Vale, last episode we came out here to take the Zeppelin over to Gramgol, and we are going to go ahead and come back out here to take a Zeppelin to the Eastern Kingdoms, but we are going to take the one that we have been using a couple of times throughout this Let's Play series, and that is to go to the Undercity. So we can go ahead, come up to the tower, and we can wait for this Zeppelin, where when we look at quests that are currently in our quest log, and we can pull up the map in just a second, we have quite a bit of stuff going on here in Stranglethorn, a little bit of stuff in Thousand Needles that we can look at in the future, something to do in the Arathi Highlands, and then we have this quest to steal from thieves, where we need to kill 3 different humans in the Arathi Highlands at a farm. And then when we come out to the map here, we can go ahead and come look at the Eastern Kingdoms, where if we were to take a moment to look at the Undercity, I don't think there's really anything here for us, where everything that is available is a group quest for dungeons. But if we come to Hillsbrad Foothills, we have quite a bit of stuff available for us, including some stuff in the Alterac Mountains and in Hillsbrad as well that we can look at, mostly in the Alterac Mountains, and we will be spending some time doing that in the next few episodes. But we also have some quests to go to the Arathi Highlands, and I think specifically only one quest, where we have the Hammer May Fall, kill 8 Borderfist Ogres and 10 Borderfist Enforcers, then find a Drumfill in the Hammerfall Outpost in Arathi Highlands. So we can go ahead and pick up that quest, and of course we have another quest we can turn in here, Trollbane, and then we have many different quests over here, where we can see Hammerfall is in the northeastern corner of Arathi Highlands. So let's go ahead, wait for the Zeppelin to show up, and then we can go run down into the Undercity and take a bat to Terran Mill. And we have arrived to the Hillsbrad Foothills, where we have Terran Mill here, and as we land in Terran Mill, we can go ahead and pick up this quest, which I believe is the only quest that we are going to pick up right now, and we'll come back for more in the future. And we do only have the one slot in our quest log right now, which I might have to reorganize some things in a moment. But let's go ahead, come over here, the Hammer May Fall, we can pick this up and we can start heading to the Arathi Highlands, where we can check right here. We can see that we have all of these enemies right here that we can kill on the way to Hammerfall. So let's go ahead and take the road out of Terran Mill here, and I guess I could actually not do that, and let's come this way where we can just cut across the river here. That's probably a little bit faster. Where the Arathi Highlands is a zone that I have explored a lot on my human mage character, where Hillsbrad Foothills is also a zone that I've explored a decent amount, and the Alterac Mountains. And this is something that I was thinking a lot about recently, where we are now entering a phase of the game where we have basically explored everything that is completely unique to the Horde, except for the Desolus, which is not completely unique to the Horde, but I have not explored that zone at all on my human mage character, so we're going to explore it more, even though there was alliance quests we could have done there. But basically, in the Eastern Kingdoms, I have explored every single zone on my human mage character, where there's some neutral stuff that I want to dive more into that I didn't really talk about too much on my human mage character, and then there is the entire Horde perspective. So we have been exploring the Horde perspective here in Hillsbrad, and now as we enter the Arathi Highlands, we will be exploring the Horde perspective of that zone as well. And then when we look at Kalimdor, that is a zone that I have explored a decent amount on my human mage character, but it definitely wasn't a priority for me in order to complete all the stuff over there, because I really wanted to focus on that continent, on this character, which is what we have been doing and is what I will continue doing. But here we have Thoradin's Wall that we can go ahead and go through, where this is just such a cool location, where we have Durnhold Keep over there, and then we have Dungrok that is down that road here, and we can now enter some new territory that we have not been to yet on this character, where we can come through this ancient wall, and there is a human paladin riding a horse this way, and we can go this way, and we can start exploring Arathi Highlands, where we now have this part of the road unlocked, and we can go ahead and cut off over in this direction, and we can start killing some ogres, where we have this quest over here that we can do, but I think I'm going to wait a little bit to level up before we do that, and I'm just going to complete this and head over to Hammerfall. So let's go ahead and cut off this way, where I think there are some trolls over here that we are going to want to be careful of as well, but just a ton of ogres here at Boulder Gore. And this, straight off the bat, is kind of a cool location, because as an Alliance character, I do not believe there is a single quest that takes you here. I could be wrong, but I don't think there is. We're straight off the bat on a Horde character. We are here doing quests here. So let's go ahead and, I guess, slowly, we're not really dealing a lot of damage, which I guess we can go ahead and use our Wind Fury weapons, and we can go ahead and start dealing with all these ogres. Where I'm kind of close to dying. Hopefully we're fine. There we go. Okay, let's heal up here. We can see up on the hill over there is a Witherbark troll, which is a forest troll that is an enemy to us. So we don't really need to fight them, but we'll probably come across them here, and then we'll have future quests where we will need to fight them. A Witherbark Shadowcaster over there. So maybe, oh, I see a human paladin right there doing stuff. So let's go ahead, come this way, and let's fight this ogre over here. I guess technically there is a quest that Alliance characters can come here and do, but I don't think many players do, except maybe that one player right there, which is the exception, where you have to kill a bunch of trolls, but most of the time players just come over here to do it. Where we are getting really close to leveling up, and it's probably not going to be on this ogre, it will be on the next one, where as we level up, of course, we will reach a level 34, where we'll get a new talent point, and that will mean we are getting kind of close to level 40, where we started off this phase at level 25, and we have leveled up quite a bit so far in the last few episodes, and as we get to level 40, we will complete this phase, and it really depends on kind of like the timing of things, with like what episodes will release when, because of when phase 3 will release, and we'll see how much stuff in phase 2 we can do before that happens. Let's go ahead and kill this ogre, and we have now leveled up. I'm going to go ahead and head over this way so we can capitalize on our level up health, and I believe we need to come into this cave, so let's go ahead and deal with this ogre first, and let's come into our talent tree, where we see we have this talent thrown in, and we have 3 of the elemental weapons thrown in. So we need to put 1 more point into something else before we can get down to weapon mastery. So I think I'll throw it into anticipation, which increases our dodge chance by an additional 1%. So it just helps make us a little bit more tough. Where there's a player going in here for some reason, and now I'm really concerned about like what's in this cave, because I don't think there's really anything in here. There's another player in here as well, but we can go ahead and just fight through the enforcers. And I have a really strong feeling that we're probably going to die as we do this. But let's just go ahead and work our way through here. Where as we look ahead to the future, we can see that we have all of the enhancement stuff that we could put points into once we complete the enhancement tree and get Storm Strike. We can come back and put points into here, but we can also look at other talent trees. So Restoration is probably not something that I'm really going to put any talent points into, but we can take like a quick look at this, where we can see we can get an improved healing wave, which I don't think is going to be super useful for us, where it just reduces the casting time of our healing wave by probably a total of half a second there. And then we have Tidal Focus, reduces the mana cost of your healing spells by 1%. So kind of just like decently nice things, but nothing that's like super nice for us. But if you come over to the elemental tree, we can see that this reduces the mana cost of your shock, lightning bolt, and chain lightning spells by 2%, which is actually pretty nice. And then this increases the damage done by your lightning bolt, chain lightning, and shock spells by 1%. So this is also pretty nice. So after we complete enhancement, we might come into here and start looking at some stuff where we can look at either more damage, which looks very tempting to me, or more mana, which also looks more tempting to me. but then we can go ahead and continue down here even further, and this is probably just going to increase our damage overall, where of course elemental is the spell casting tree for shamans, but we will be able to get some nice benefits depending on like what we pick for our enhancement tree. And sneak past here, and there's just so many dead ogres in here. I'm not sure why there's like so many players in here. I guess they just want the mining nodes. I feel like this might be a bot, but not 100% sure. Oh, we have a... Oh, no, 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 no. Okay. I tried to pull that one enforcer, and I thought the second one was like far enough away where it would just pull the first one, and then it ended up pulling the second one. And then as I pulled the enforcer, another one just spawned right there, where I don't want to run further than this. Is this fine? Is this gonna be okay? Not okay? Oh, okay, okay. Looks like we're okay. Let's fight this enforcer. Oh, no, we're not gonna fight that enforcer either. I don't know what's happening. Let's invite this level 40 person that instantly joined. Okay. This might also be a bot. Why are there so many bots in this cave? That's so weird. Okay, the bot just killed an ogre over there. Should I try saying hello? Maybe it's... Oh. What is happening? Am I going to get banned if I'm in this group with this bot? Let's say hello. Maybe it's not a bot. The bot is taking a lot of damage. Let's run down here. I'm going to need that. And then I'm going to loot that. And then I think I'm just going to kill this enforcer and leave, because I don't want to be in a party with a bot, because I don't want to get banned at all. But I think those two other paladins running through here are also bots. So I guess there's just a ton of bots running through this cave, which is unfortunate. Let's go ahead and use this healing potion, I think. And then I want to run this way. Because I'm very close to dying. I now have a greater healing potion that I could have used. Let's continue running down here for us. Oh no. Okay. There we go. There we go. We got it. We got it. Let's heal. Okay, let's go ahead and try to start our exit from this cave, where we need to fight one more enforcer like the one we have right here. Let's go ahead and pop our Blood Fury there, and let's go ahead and try to deal as much damage to the enforcer in as short of amount of time as possible. One more hit should do it. There we go, and we got some waylaid supplies right there, which is very nice. But let's go ahead. This enforcer just spawned, so let's just exit out here. And that ogre's dead, so we kind of have a safe spot right here. Let's go ahead and heal, and then let's go ahead and transform into our ghost wolf, where we have now completed this quest. And that was an incredibly interesting questing experience right there, where I was not expecting that at all, where we ended up like almost dying like 3 times, but we didn't die, so I think we're fine, and we are dandy, and we are okay, and we are thriving. But we could die to the Strong Guard cavalryman and this Lieutenant Valor Call right there, which of course this is an elite alliance patrol that patrols between Refuge Point and Stromgard, which is a giant ancient human fortress right there. So we are just going to ignore them, and we can head down this way, where of course the Horde have a patrol of their own that goes through this area from a farm near Hammerfall all the way to Terran Mill, which I think we've seen in this series, and we interacted with them in our Alliance Human Mage Let's Play series. But we can go ahead and take this road where this leads to the Thandospan and Wetlands, and going backwards leads to Stromgard, but we can go to Hammerfall, where, yeah, I just was not expecting to like be interacting with like bots of this episode, and there's just so many of them going through there. So that was interesting, and hopefully I don't get banned for being in a party with one for a moment and typing something to them. Where we can continue this way, because going that way leads to the farm that I just mentioned that we had gone to on our human mage character. But we can continue this road all the way to Hammerfall, where it is a pretty long road because we are right here and we have to get all the way over here, which is like halfway across the zone now. And Hammerfall is a really, really cool location because it is one of the Orcish internment camps that the Alliance of Lordaeron set up following the Second War, where they interred all of the orcs there. And Hammerfall in particular is a very special internment camp, similar to Durnhold, because that is the internment camp that held Thrall, where the one here at Hammerfall, as we have mentioned like twice now, so now it's going to be a third time in this series, is the location where the Orcish war chief Orgrim Doomhammer died at. So of course this internment camp turned Orcish base camp outpost stronghold was named or renamed in honor of Orgrim Doomhammer, because this is the location where the hammer fell, where we can see Hammerfall coming into view here, where that was actually a little bit faster than I was anticipating, where I guess it is a pretty safe road without many obstacles, so we can just get by really quickly. But we can go ahead and come up to here where we have the main gates of Hammerfall, and we have some Hammerfall guardians here, so a bunch of orcs around here, and of course there are going to be a bunch of trolls as well. And on top of all of that, there might be a Tauren or two, and then on top of all of that, there are going to be a lot of undead, because Hammerfall is the location that Horde players come to, and they can also go in capital cities for one of the battlegrounds in the game, where I'm just going to sprint straight past here, where we can explore this in a future episode. But we have the Arathi Basin right here that we can go ahead and like enter when we want to in order to join this battleground, which I am thinking about doing, as I said, in a couple of episodes. But let's go ahead and run over this way, where I have two quests to turn in right here, one of which is to this troll and one of which is to this orc, where we can go ahead and pick up the call to arms quest here, and then we have another quest that we could pick up here as well, but we need to go to Stromgarde for it, and it is a level 37 quest. Let's go ahead and get this Wind Rider Master here, and then we have two more quests that we can go ahead and pick up. So let's go and talk to Gormu here, where he says, "It is still clear to me like yesterday, so many years without hope, with wood and steel to bind me to this terrible place. Then finally, there was the War Chief Doomhammer in his midnight plate, his warhammer held high. It was too terrible that the blow of a coward would strike down our greatest hero. From behind he charged on his horse, and then his lance ran him through. I fell to my knees. What hope was there? What hope is there?" Where we can run over here, where we have this troll Torgan, and we can go ahead and turn this quest in, where he says, Gormu you speak of. Yes, from what he says, it seems he has never recovered from the death of Doomhammer. Gormu was a captive here when Thrall and Orgrim fought to free the camp, but as the earth shook and our brethren escaped, he was left behind. He wandered alone and lost for years without direction or hope, until we returned to establish ourselves here in Hammerfall, where we can go ahead and raise his spirits by collecting 10 different Highland Raptor Eyes. So let's go ahead and pick up that quest. And then we have one more quest that I can go ahead and pick up here, where I think I'm going to go ahead and let's get rid of this quest, because we can pick this up pretty easily and we can still get pages in Stranglethorn. So let's go ahead and pick this quest up. And we now have 4 different quests, I believe, that we can do all around here. And we have quite a few different markers on our map, and let's go ahead and start doing all of this as we progress towards level 35. Whereas we continue our questing experience here in the Arathi Highlands, I want to go ahead and continue talking about some troll stuff, where there's 2 different things that I want to talk about. And then at the end of this video, I kind of want to talk about an interesting idea, but we'll get to that point once we get there. But I want to continue where we left off last time, talking about trolls in general, where I talked a little bit about them down in the description as well, but let's go ahead and just continue. The Shadowspear was not the only tribe who has seen a change in their stance on the other nations, however. The chaos unleashed by the recent cataclysm caused immense damage to Zandalar itself, and has thus reshaped the Zandalari stance about the world as well, and the dwindling remnants of their race. Around the time of the Alliance and Horde siege on the Twilight Highlands, a meeting was led by the mysterious prophet Zul to discuss the fate of their people. Among those in attendance at the meeting are Vol'jin of the Darkspear, Jindo of the Gurubashi, Dakara of the Amani, and an unknown ice troll leader. There, the tribe leaders are reminded of the falls of Zul'Frak and Zuldrak. Zul then says that the troll tribes must unite to form a new troll empire. He entices both Jindo and Dakara with promises of restoring Zul'Gurub and Zul'Aman to their former glory. As the other trolls agree to join the Zandalari, Vol'jin begins walking away and only stops when asked if he would betray his people. Vol'jin retorts that the Horde are his people and promises to stop the Zandalari should they bring war to the land. Knowing that a neutral empire would be a grave threat to Azeroth, Vol'jin has sent Darkspear emissaries to both Orgrimmar and Stormwind, knowing that the Horde alone cannot stop the Zandalari. While Vol'jin's efforts have been able to keep the Amani contained within Zul'Aman, the Gurubashi were able to launch an attack on Stranglethorn before being pushed back to Zul'Gurub. Vol'jin's Darkspear have been able to keep themselves entrenched within both Zul'Aman and Zul'Gurub. The Reventusk and Shadowspear tribes have also refused to join the Zandalari and have stayed true to the Horde. With the aid of Haldiran Breadwings, Farstriders, and Vressa Windrunners Rangers, Vol'jin and the Darkspear were able to keep the Amani hold up inside Zul'Aman. After deciding an appropriate battle plan, Vol'jin personally leads a strike force into Zul'Aman, and with the aid of adventurers he puts an end to Dakara, which severely weakening the Amani even further and ends Zandalari's efforts within Zul'Aman. However, empowered by the Zandalari's offer, the Gurubashi launched an all-out assault to claim Stranglethorn. Though with the effort of brave adventurers, they are pushed back into Zul'Gurub, where Darkspear agents have claimed the entrance. These agents were then able to discover that Jindo is wrestling Hakar the Soulflayer into submission, holding him by spirit chains and stripping out his power into himself. With this knowledge, they recruited adventurers who ventured into Zul'Gurub and put an end to the Gurubashi leadership before freeing Hakar, who swiftly killed Jindo, thus dealing the Gurubashi a severe blow and removing the Zandalari's influence, though at the cost of the Soulflayer's freedom. When the mists hiding the southern continent Pandaria lifted, the Zandalari realized that they had an opportunity to claim the land as their own by resuming their allegiance with the Mogu. To cement this allegiance and their place on Pandaria, the trolls invaded the Kunlai region of the continent to find and retrieve the corpse of Lei Shen, the Thunder King, and the first emperor of the Mogu Empire. With their powerful voodoo magic, the Zandalari were successful in resurrecting him, and shortly after the Alliance and Horde made landfall, the resurrected Thunder King began an earnest campaign to restore the Mogu Empire to glory. He was aided by the United Troll Forces with the Council of Elders, a group consisting of the leaders of the Fraki, Gurubashi, Dakari, and Amani, standing guard over the entrance to his palace. It wasn't long, however, before the forces of the Alliance and Horde assaulted the Thunder King's palace and eliminated the troll presence within, an act that Lei Shen was thankful for, as he considered them filth. Shortly afterwards, these adventures would end Lei Shen's life as well, ending the threat of both empires on Pandaria. The failure did not stop the Zandalari, and Dun Moreau, an emissary of Zandalari, arrived to aid the Frostmane tribe in building an army to assault Ironforge. Using enslaved elementals, the Frostmane summoned a mighty blizzard around their home and kidnapped a number of dwarven scouts. While the Bronzebeard and Wildhammer clans refused to take action out of distrust for the Dark Iron clans, Moira chose to lead her people to defend Ironforge herself. Aided by Keenvarian Rin and a trio of adventurers, their combined forces rescued the prisoners, stopped the blizzard, and killed Hakima the Wise, ending the Frostmane threat. The trolls of the Darkspear tribe accompanied the Horde on their campaign across the alternate Draenor with a strong presence in Frostfire Ridge and Nagrand. A sole sand troll named Dazgul was seen in the ranks of the Iron Horde. When the Burning Legion invaded Azeroth for the third time, the Darkspear tribe participated in the defense of Azeroth and offensive against the demons, joining various class orders. Warchief Vol'jin also died during the Battle for Broken Shore. The Frostmane tribe in Dun Moreau was attacked by the demons as well. Several Zandalari trolls were later captured by sea giants in Ajuna on the Broken Isles. After the Horde rescued the daughter Rastakan, Talanji, and Prophet Zul from Stormwind City, the Zandalari trolls of the Zandalari Empire on Zandalar started operating with the Horde, becoming allies. Emissaries of all troll tribes gathered at the Terrace of the Speakers in Zul'Dazar. We're to highlight one troll specifically that we have talked about a lot in this Let's Play series. The Shadow Hunter Vol'jin, son of Sen'jin, was the War Chief of the Horde, as well as chieftain of the Darkspear tribe and rightful ruler of Durotar and the Echo Isles. Vol'jin had sworn to do everything in his power to lead the Darkspear tribe, just as his late father Sen'jin would have. For years, Vol'jin resided in Orgrimmar, offering strategic advice to then Warchief Thrall and assisting with critical operations, such as retaking the Undercity after the Forsaken Bastion had been usurped by Grand Apothecary Putris and the Dreadlord Varimathras. During the Cataclysm, however, Vol'jin came into conflict with the Horde's new Warchief, Garrosh Hellscream. Alienated by the Orcs' extremism and lust for war, the troll leader departed Orgrimmar and took up residence on Darkspear Isle. Despite his conflict with the new Warchief, Vol'jin remained loyal to the Horde and opposed the efforts of the Zandalari to create a neutral empire in the wake of the Cataclysm. By the time the war between the Alliance and Horde came to the shores of Pandaria, Vol'jin had become a bitter enemy of Garrosh. After surviving an assassination attempt by one of Hellscream's Kor'kron, Vol'jin went into hiding, while rallying support within the Horde itself to end Garrosh's reign. With Garrosh's defeat and capture, Vol'jin was led to assume the mantle of War Chief of the Horde, with the personal encouragement of Thrall, as well as the rest of the Horde's leadership, becoming the first non-Orc to earn the title. He ruled the Horde until he was mortally wounded during the Battle for the Broken Shore, though he was evacuated back to Orgrimmar. He succumbed to foul poisoning from his wound. Following the guidance of an unknown force, posing as Loa, with his dying breath he named Sylvanas Windrunner the Queen of the Forsaken as the new War Chief of the Horde. However, death would not be the end of Vol'jin's story. Rather than passing peacefully into the care of Bronsamdi, the Loa of Death, he was spirited away by a different force. His spirit was reforged and made even more powerful and act beyond the power of even the Valkyr. While his memories of what happened are hidden, he continues to serve and advise the Horde from beyond the grave with all his power. Vol'jin's counsel was valuable during the Fourth War, where he helped guide Princess Talanji and warned the Horde of the threat that Gahun presented to both Azeroth and the Shadowlands. His spirit is eventually called upon to aid the adventures in Ardenweald when Mu'uzzalah has revealed his schemes for Azeroth. Alongside Bronsamdi, Vol'jin faces the perils of the Maw before merging his essence with Razan, after the mighty Loa is mortally wounded in the Jailer's domain. Returning to Ardenweald, Razan's power allows for the Winter Queen to offer the former chieftain a chance at resurrection. Accepting, Vol'jin is placed into an anima seed and begins the process of reincarnation and turn of vow. Where that is the brief biography of Vol'jin, where we basically just kind of skimmed everything that happened with him, from like Warcraft 3 to the Shadowlands, and of course Dragonflight exists now, but I don't think there's been any story with the Vol'jin and Dragonflight. Where I just went down to the Dragonflight section of Vol'jin's page, and it says a time-displaced Vol'jin from his time as an apprentice shadow hunter appeared in every Win Inn in Thaldraszus, asking adventurers to retrieve his missing mojo. So kind of just a fun and interesting story there. We're talking about like the entire story of Vol'jin is really interesting because it takes place in multiple different eras of the game, from like classic to Shadowlands, and of course people have different opinions about the game, where, you know, some people think certain expansions are better than the other, and of course I've said this many times, I have my own opinions. But I think an interesting aspect of this is how these expansions have continued, where if you're someone who has played Classic WoW, the Burning Crusade, and Wrath of Lich King, for example, you have interacted with the Vol'jin, and you have interacted with the stories in those expansions, but those stories continue developing in further expansions, and we are currently in 2024 when I am recording this, and World of Warcraft may very well be around in 2040, for example, which is 16 years from now, which is 8 expansions from now, and Vol'jin might still be a character at that point, which means that there's still a lot of story to be made related to this character as the game develops, as like the developers try to keep people playing the game, and as they progress the story of this universe that has been built up over the last like 25 or however many years. And I think at one point you have to recognize within yourself where you kind of draw the line with how you want to interact with the story of a franchise that is ever going on, because you may really enjoy like the story, and the story may be continuing and going in a direction that you don't personally enjoy, and you really want to continue like learning the story because it's like something that like you still relatively enjoy, and you like especially like the deep connection you have with it from like the previous times that you played during the earlier parts of this story. But the story, I've said story so many times now, the story is going to be continuing on and on and on in the future, where this is something that I personally been struggling with a little bit, and I kind of talked about this in a video I made months ago related to achievements, where World of Warcraft is a game that is going to stay in development for a very long time, which means there are going to always be more and more achievements that you need to complete, where like on the baseline, and let's start transitioning this back to story, there are a ton of stories in the game that you can experience, more so than you could ever really like understand in like a relatively short amount of time, just because there's so much content. And then on top of that, there's always going to be more and more and more and more and more story developed into the game, where I am someone who enjoys experiencing every aspect of a game. And with my YouTube series, I have tried to kind of like do that, but recording it so I have it in video form so I can like watch it again in the future, so I can come back to it and kind of like reminisce about all this stuff. But something that I've been thinking about is when I want to kind of stop learning about like all this story, and also how much of the story that I really want to talk about. And that is something that I've been thinking about since I've kind of like a few episodes into my Human Mage Let's Play series. And even before my Human Mage Let's Play series, I was like thinking about that a little bit too, about what scope I wanted to do. Where initially I was thinking like I'll do Vanilla, the Burning Crusade, and Wrath of the Lich King, and then I'll kind of see what I want to do from there. And those plans have changed a little bit with kind of like everything that I wanted to look at. Where I think, and of course, my plans and goals for the future will probably most likely change, but currently where I feel like I'm at is there's two big groups here, where the first is I kind of want to experience a level of nostalgia, where I finished playing the game in the Mist of Pandaria, so I think in a sense I might finish highlighting my experiences with playing World of Warcraft in Mist of Pandaria. But then on the other side of the token, I want to take an opportunity to kind of like appreciate what World of Warcraft has become and what World of Warcraft will become in the future. So that might be like one additional series after like a sneak quick like mini series in Mist of Pandaria, where we will go ahead and take a look at the future of World of Warcraft, maybe a more of an intensive series, where of course I have been doing my Orc Shaman Season of Discovery Let's Play series that you're watching right now, and I've been doing all my hardcore mini-series, and I have a few other mini-series that I want to look at. So I think I'm going to kind of continue with like this Season of Discovery series, of course, and then I'm going to continue with those mini-series, where I have a very set plan for what miniseries I want to do, and I'm kind of reluctant to say what they are because it may change in the future, but I'll go ahead and share it for maybe there's one person listening to this right now. Hello, I hope you're doing well. But I want to continue with my hardcore series, where I'm doing my Tauren one right now, and then there's two more after that that I want to look at. And then I want to do a Blood Elf miniseries, a Draenei miniseries, a Death Knight miniseries, which is going to be very interesting. It kind of will go over a lot of different things in a very short amount of time. And then I want to do a Worgen miniseries or a Goblin miniseries, and then a Worgen or Goblin miniseries. I'm not sure which one I want to do first. And then after that, I want to do a Pandaren miniseries going into Mist of Pandaria, where of course my plan for that might change in the future, but that's kind of where I'm at right now. We're going back to the aspect of how much lore and story there is in World of Warcraft. I have spent a lot of time in Season of Discovery and in my Human Mage Let's Play series and in all of my hardcore Let's Play series talking about the lore and story of the game, where I kind of wanted to be able to provide like a full sense of the Azeroth universe and the Warcraft universe in like my Let's Play series, where I think I'm not going to ever really achieve that because the game will forever be developing. So I think with the Season of Discovery going on from here on out, and then with my hardcore series, I want to highlight like some of the biggest things in the Warcraft universe, and then some of the most important things to me. And then as we go into my Blood Elf and my Draenei and so forth mini-series, I really kind of want to go back to roots and go back to basics and kind of slow down like the pacing of each episode to be more in line with my Guild Wars 2 Let's Play series, and kind of just really experience like the world and like live in the world and stuff like that, because those mini-series won't be like super slow gameplay wise compared to like vanilla, where I feel like I have to like speed things up to make like the video seem like better and not be a 300 episode long Let's Play series and all that stuff. But that's just a lot of thoughts that I have, and of course my thoughts may change in the future, but I feel pretty confident about where I am mentally right now. And alongside all that, we have continued exploring the Arathi Highlands, and I have leveled up a couple of times now in this episode, where I went to Hillsbrad Foothills and I went into the Alterac Mountains to do some questing there. and I fought many yetis to the point where I leveled up again, trying to get Helcular's Rod, and I probably killed almost 100. I could count them, but I'm not going to count them, and I skipped over a lot of them. But let's just say almost 100, and I haven't gotten the Rod yet, so I may return in the future, or I may just leave it alone, where I have gained a lot of experience in this episode because of the buff, and I think I'm okay with gaining this much experience because we can just do quests at level 40 to get some gold, and also to prep ourselves for phase 3 of the Season of Discovery, where I think we're halfway through this phase, around about at this point, maybe a little bit more than halfway, and we'll see when phase 3 gets announced. But I returned to Orgrimmar and did a few different things there, and then I went to Thunderbluff and did a few different things there, and I'm going to go ahead and call this episode good here, where I hope you all enjoyed watching me play through the Arathi Highlands and talking about some more troll stuff and kind of just going on a random rant here at the end of the episode. And I hope you all are taking good care of yourselves. Remember, as always, to drink some water, check your posture, and subscribe. And I'll see you next time in the world of Azeroth. Goodbye.